I didn't film anything yesterday because I was sad and kind of depressed. I was supposed to do a 3-day fast. Woke up day 2 and I didn't have a plan. Then later on in the day, I had some Kraft macaroni and it went downhill from there. I'm filming now because a spirit of joy hit me and I was like, I can stay depressed, I can be depressed, or I can just step into joy. Yeah. So I was just interrupted for 2 hours by a roommate. He could sense that I was not doing well, or that I had a lot of thoughts in my mind. So that's a good thing about having close relationship with people who know God, because specifically this man, God reveals a lot too. And so he's able to know sometimes how others are feeling because God reveals it to him. That was very refreshing and freeing because I'm just learning more and more. There's no condemnation, which means there's no shame or fear when it comes to if we fall, if we do things that are sinful, which just means if we do things that are not the best for us. Right now, I feel great. Yeah, I think sometimes you get in your head about anything when in reality all you need to do is take a step back and figure out ways to not be in your head. I'm gonna start drinking tea and see if that helps me not be anxious or stressed. I don't get anxious or stressed very often. There are specific smells that people attach to. For me, one of those smells is Old Spice deodorant, classic deodorant. For whatever reason, I'm looking out this window right now and it's bringing me back to a place I used to be. Smells are special. Smells are special things. They transport your mind back to a place that you used to know. This is the first time I'm clean shaven. I gotta get that. Guess what I'm watching? You got it. Yeah. We got the desk all set up. Nice. I have always kind of thought about this idea when it comes to Christians. You will see some Christians on stage and then see them off stage. And I have had the privilege of I've seen a lot of people on stage and then off stage. And I am friends with some people who have been on stage and have been off stage. And you see the way that they go about life and the way that they feel spiritual and very connected to God when they're on stage. And when they're off stage, they still feel like that until a moment. And you see that moment unveil itself before you as you're living your life and and from my perspective, as I'm observing them live, being hypercritical because they're on stage and I want to either learn from them or maybe judge them so that I can feel better about myself for not being on stage. I have seen these people on stage and off stage, and what I've struggled with is when they fail, when they're not perfect, and when they joke or whatever. It could be anything, and it's oh, I thought you were spiritual, I thought you were religious, I thought you knew God. And something really hit me this past week meeting my roommates. My one roommate said to me, he's very prophetic, and he I'm sure he could sense that I was very impressed by his closeness to God, and just I was waiting for him to say something about me that I know or that I don't know that God told him about me. And he stops in a moment and looks at me and he says, I just want you to know I am a human. He's I understand that I am close to God and I hear him speak, but that doesn't mean I'm not a human. And I knew exactly what he meant, and what he was saying by that is, yes, I'm close to God and I know God, but I will mess up. And I may not mess up in hearing God, But I will still mess up in other ways because I am human. And growing up in church, just growing up with these ideas of heroes and idols or icons in my life, even in the Christian world and in the secular world, having musicians or fashion designers that I look up to, and then meeting them, I have met a lot of most of the people that I look up to, especially in the Christian world. Probably any Christian that I've looked up to, I have met, and I've seen that they're not perfect. And it's a hard reality that I've had to face. And so we have to break this idea that people on stage are perfect. Are they called to higher things? Yes. Should they have knowledge of the truth, and should they hear God's voice well? Yes, but it doesn't mean that they are perfect. Just because they have a mic doesn't mean that they're better than you or me. Either way, that's not even the goal. The goal is not for you to be better than them. The goal is not for them to be better than you. The goal is that we know God. That's the goal. That's the mission, that we know God, and that we would live in a way that people would know that we know God, whether we tell them that we know him or not, and that people would follow God because of how we follow him. I've come to the realization that people are not perfect, but there's so much beauty in that, and just live life knowing that people are not perfect. Enjoy the failure, enjoy the mistakes, enjoy the bad breath and sometimes the bad words that come out of their mouth. They said something wrong, or they tripped over their words, or they didn't have a response. I am a very awkward person. I'm like, this is all I have to offer. My awkwardness, my humanity. I know Jesus, but it doesn't mean I'm perfect at anything. It doesn't mean that I won't make you feel sad at moments, or I won't necessarily let you down, because sometimes God calls us to do things that will let other people down. I don't know why he does that way. I don't know how it works like that, but I'm called to hear his voice and to follow him, and you're called to hear his voice and to follow him. And sometimes our paths will separate. But if we're both following God, it will work out for the good. It will work out for our best, for your best. If you feel hurt by what I've done, or if I feel hurt by what you've done, the best thing to do is check our hearts, because I don't think it's possible to be hurt by another human if you're completely focused on God. Because if you're focused on God and your relationship with him, he will never let you down. And so if you're walking with someone who never lets you down, and this person lets you down, but you're still walking with this person who's perfect, God, Jesus, then you're not even going to look twice at this person who has let you down, because you're so close to someone who gives you that confidence and that strength. Yes, humans will let you down. One day they won't, and today you have an answer if they do. I think that's all that I have to speak on when it comes to my life right now. I love a clean room, which my room is very clean right now. There's not a lot in it. I'm close to everyone in my life because it's not a lot of people right now, and it's good. Keep your people close and keep them few, and love them as best as you can. No need to spread the net wide. Keep it simple. That's what I'm learning in this season. Also, feel free to learn from anyone. They may be worse than you are at a gift, but they will know something that you don't know. And don't be afraid to be imperfect. I'm recording this on a phone. When I have a camera, it's not complicated. I think we complicate a lot of things that we don't need to complicate. Also, your words are very important, so when it's time to stop speaking, don't say anything. And with that said,